Welcome you to customer with U2 clients. Unidata and Universe Server support TCP IPv6 protocol already many years ago. So most of the information already in the U2 client menu. But I'd like to demo in this YouTube video to explain what's the different client to work with TCP IPv6 protocol. So most of common U2 client, we have UniObject for Java, U2 JDBC client, UO.NET, U2 Toolkit, U2 ODBC, and latest UOPY. The syntax may be different when you're using the IPv6 protocol. So first, for UniObject for Java, basically it's complete the same program. You can use in IPv4 syntax in the host name, also using the IPv6 format IP address. It will work the same way for UOJ. But next client, public client is a JDBC client. It will be a little bit different in the URL. I will show you later. For the .NET side, we have UO.NET and U2 Toolkit. They will be a little bit different in the program syntax. For UO.NET, you are using specified property in the UniObject in the use IPv6 property setting. U2 Toolkit very similar in the connection string. For the ODBC kind of a little bit different. You need to specify IPv6 in the UCI config. If you're using the latest UOPY client, and it will be the same for IPv4 and IPv6. So next, just give you an idea if you're using a UOJ or using most of the U2 tool, like a SMN tool, basically you just put a host name using the IPv6 address, and it will work the same way like IPv4. Next will be U2 JDBC client. JDBC client, we have a syntax. You need to using the square bracket to contain the IPv6 address. So JDBC client can recognize your IPv6 address. The next will be UO.NET. In the UO.NET, they have a UniObject property. You need to specify IPv6 equal to, so you can put a host name like this to recognize your IPv6 address. Next will be U2 Toolkit. Is also a .NET application. So they have a setting property set in the connection string. Will be use IPv6 equal to. For the U2 ODBC client, a little bit complicated because you need to put it setting in the UCI.config file. Inside the UCI config file, they have additional parameter called IP version equal IPv6. They have a multiple choice. You can use in IPv6 or like an IPv4 underscore IPv6. So they have if you use in IPv4 and you can IPv6 also. So for the UOPY, it's same thing like a UOJ. The program is completely the same. You only need to put the IPv6 protocol IP6 address in the host field. You will recognize by Python environment automatic. So So next I will do the demo to show you how it works. So first you need to find machine support IPv6. So on my machine already support IPv6. For example, you can use an ipconfig to find my machine have IPv6 address. That's the IPv6 address. This. So you need to pin it before you can test it. So you can do the simple testing to recognize the IPv6. There's 2 pin. So you can, my local machine can recognize the IPv6 address without any problem. So on the server side, how you know is using IPv6. Simple ways is turn on the UniRBC daemon lock. For my machine is Windows 10, so very quick is running UniRBC daemon. So UniRBC daemon by default is not turn on the UniRBC debugging lock, so I can stop it. So next will be put the log label is -D9. So that's the option. I put the UniRBC debug in the temp TEMP folder. You need to use in this option called start, not OK option. So you can start it. So I've started, then everything will put the debugging log in the temp folder UniRBC daemon dialog. So I can go to the temp folder. In the temp folder, you can looking for a program called UniRBC daemon log. So inside here right now, it's you can see it just listen waiting for any connection now. So it's nothing here. So next I will using UOJ application. So inside here I can the first demo I will show you is the UOJ. I already have a UOJ application in this program, so I need to start the command mode. And then UOJ application, it's complete same IPv4 and IPv6. So basically I have a multi program inside this folder I call UOJ connect.java. It's the same program I used before for test IPv4. So that's the syntax to running here. The syntax. I also have a UOJ client running on put it on the same folder, so I can use in -cp option to using the UOJ driver in this column folder. So for example, I using the universe. It can be same Unidata universe. So the host name right now, I don't use a localhost. I want to use in the IPv6 address. So I can change to IPv6 address and put the username and password. So I can make a connection, connect to hf.sales. So it looks like it's successful to connect it. So I can get the option, open the state file. Then I can read the record, CL record successful. But how can you know it's running IPv4 and IPv6? So it's very simple to go back to looking for UniRBC daemon logging. So it's UniRBC daemon log. Okay, so I can read it. If you look at the UniRBC daemon log, you will see you will send the client will send the IP address, the host name, is IPv6 address. It is the completely same for all the other client. So next will be JDBC client. For JDBC client, I will show you the source code a little bit different on the UOJ. UOJ because the same code, so I don't need to show you the different. But for the JDBC, that's the UOJ client, so it will be the same code. It's no change for IPv4 and IPv6. But if running this one is JDBC client, you will see the syntax basically will be a little bit different in the connection string. So that's the format I will show you. It's the when you put the IPv6 address protocol, then I use in this way to left square bracket and right square bracket to generate the correct format to recognize IPv6. So if I test again, so next program I can using that's the syntax to read. So that's the syntax. So using the program, using the same universe, and this time I need to put the IPv6 address. So username and password. So it is successful work with IPv6 on JDBC client. Next demo will show you is using UO.NET. UO.NET is .NET application. So here's the program. I can show you the UO.NET program. So that's the UO.NET application. It's a pretty simple program called Mega Connection, and you can run the command. So inside the UO.NET connection part, they have one particular option called UO.NET unit objects that use IPv6 is true. So I have a choice to set yes or no, so I can test IPv4 and IPv6. So if I run it, so that's the program. Here the IPv6 address and connect to universe, use IPv6, and so make a connection and running universe command to show you the universe version successful. So it's pretty simple to switch to from IPv4 to IPv6. So same thing if you go back to look at the UniRPC daemon log, you will see the address. I can load it again. So latest connection, you were using IPv6. The host using that's the host name, and that's the IPv6 address. That's IPv6 address. So next demo will be using YouTube Toolkit. YouTube Toolkit, it's almost the same UO.NET, but the syntax just a little bit different. So I can show you the YouTube Toolkit. So here the YouTube Toolkit. This is the YouTube Toolkit application. So in the YouTube Toolkit application, they have a called a YouTube connection string builder, and they have one particular option using use IPv6. So inside here, you can run the almost the same UO.NET syntax. So just running. So that's the program running here. So I put the same IPv6 address. So I can make a connection. So it's successful. So It's just very similar for U2 Toolkit. So next I will demo is using ODBC. Then ODBC is just a little bit different now. So in the previous slide, I already show you is defined the U2 UCI.config file. So if you run in the UCI config, so I open it UCI config. So basically, it's just here I define UCI data source. I call TCP IPv6. You can call any name you want. I call it -UV. Then IPv6 address here. Let's just IPv6 address. Put it in the host field. Also need to specify IP version equal true. So after I set it, then I can create the ODBC DSN. So in the ODBC DSN, I create called TCP IPv6. So this one, basically it's using this one is specify the UCI data source, and then put here using IPv6 address, and all the other is the same. So you can from here you can test the connection successful, or you might have some ODBC application. So here's the ODBC application. So I can make an ODBC connection. So it's successful everything using the TCP IPv6 protocol without any problem on ODBC client. So last one will be using UOPY. UOPY is Python. Python already handle the IPv6 address. So basically, you can run for my environment. I check. I running is Python version is 391. So inside here, I just run the Python program. I can show you the Python program is pretty simple. It just make a connection for. If you look at the Python program, so here's the simple Python program to create the UOPY section object using the server name. Then server name for IPv4, IPv6 is completely the same. So for here, I can run pyth. So I can run the Python program called the Python, the program, so python, Python, here the program called UOPY TCP/IP. Oh, here. So that's the program to test the IPv6. So server name is the same thing for IPv6 address. So username and password. So it's coming back and return the Colorado record. So in the simple Python program, I will put all the sample program on our FTP website, so you can download it and you can play for it and to see how it works. So hopefully you can very easy to find the syntax in this YouTube video. Thank you for your watching.